Hi everyone and happy Monday. We have a planner page today from Johanna Basford from Ivy in the Inky Butterfly, and here's Ivy. So it's the page near the end of the book where she's waving goodbye to the dragons, but we have a few different bits to do. We have the garden door, we have the curtains and the greenery, and we have Ivy. So we've sort of got a selection of different sections here. Not quite sure what I'm going to do, haven't thought about it too much, but I have decided that I'm going to be using my Pablo pencils. Now if you don't have the Pablos, don't worry, I do have some conversion charts for Pablo and Prismacolor and Pablo and Polychromos, so if you don't have the set, then you can try and match up similar-ish colours. Those are available on my Ko-fi shop, and I'll try and remember to put some links in the description so that you can find them a little bit more easily. Now I've decided that I'm going to start with Ivy. I think it's as good a place to start as any. Now I'm going to use the Granite Rose for her skin. Now there isn't much skin to do here. I know some people find it a bit daunting. I have done myself in the past. But it's just a small area. So if you're new to doing skin tone, then this could be a good place to start, really, because there's not a lot there to do, really. It looks a lot when you zoom in, but it is quite a small part of the picture. So Granite Rose is the colour I've chosen. There really are very few skin tones in the Pablos that I would sort of pick for a pale skin. If you want to do a dark skin, then I can't really help you. It's not something that I have yet practiced. I want to learn, but I haven't yet practiced it. So I'm just going to go over all the skin in a layer of this one, and then we'll have a bit of a play with a little bit of shadowing. We don't need to do too much because, you know, it's a really small area, and so there won't be too much to do. Now I always find faces interesting. Some people will do the cheeks red, which is quite cute. But other people will do this part red and leave the cheeks lighter because they're catching the light on the cheekbones. So there's sort of almost two ways that I see people do them. I'm going to go slightly darker. I think I'm going to use the salmon, she says indecisively, just a tad. Now this is quite a strong colour in my opinion, so I'm only going to use a little bit. I'm just sharpening it so it's nice and pointy. Here it is. Salmon. Now I'm thinking, where's going to be a little bit darker? In between the legs here, there would be a tiny sort of bit of shadow, really. Now you can do your shadows in a sort of grey or black if you wish. I tend to just do them in a darker bit of skin tone. I sometimes do them in a sort of blackish shade, or greys, but I find this can work quite well. Now if we're doing like the edge of the legs here and here, it can make them look a little bit more rounded because obviously legs aren't flat. And we can do the same with the arm. We would have a bit more shadow here where it's going under against the dress, and a little bit in there and underneath like that, just a tad on the top to give that roundness. I think the palm might be a little bit darker. I don't know, my palm seems to be quite dark, maybe not, I don't know. It's done now. And the edges of the neck and just under the chin, and then just I'm tending to do a little bit here and here under the eye and along the hairline, bottom of the ear, and there under the nose, like that. I think that's plenty for such a small character, so I'm just going to leave it there. But we are going to think about her hair now. I'm just putting my pencil there, okay, because I need to put them in a way that I can remember which ones I've used. Now hair, I quite like doing her a lightish hair, but not too light because we need to be able to see it. So I'm actually going to start with the light ochre. I don't know which is better, that blinding one or down here. Anyway, so I'm going to cover the whole hair with this. Now hair is an interesting thing to colour. You can choose to try and do individual pieces of hair, or you can colour it as a sort of block. You know, there are lots of options. Now with a small character like this one, I think trying to do individual pieces is quite difficult because they're really teeny tiny. If you've got a whole page for a face, like you might have in a Hannah Carlson book or something, then you can do the individual strands. And I haven't actually been asked, I've just reminded myself earlier that I've been asked to do some Hannah Carlson hair as a video, and I will have a go and show you because it's something that I really like doing. And I don't know if my technique is, it's just what I do. So it doesn't mean it's right, but you know, you can have a look and see and have a think. I'm going to use the brown, I think, what's this? Is that just the ochre? It's a little bit pale. I might use the, I'm just looking through what I've got. The brown ochre. Yeah, I'm going to use the brown ochre. It needs a sharpen. Bear with me. There we go. There's the brown ochre. And I'm going to think now about where is the hair going to be darker. Now, at the back here, this bit here is in shadow under her sort of face, around the ear there. It'll be a bit darker here, and maybe just here, and then maybe just leave that bit lighter in there. And then the same here, we've got a little bit here, and I want it to sort of be lighter on the top of the head where it will be catching the light, just there. But I like to just do the little bit, if there's a parting, a bit darker. And then again, a bit of a dark bit here, around the ear, and a dark bit in here. It would be shaded by a head. And then what I tend to do is do the ends of the tendrils, and then that end, and make it a little bit lighter in this middle for these ones on the front. I'm not going too dark because the ones behind, like this one, would be darker. So that one's going to be a little bit darker because it's a little bit further back. Same with that one, put quite a bit of dark in there and here. But still leaving a bit of white to sort of make her hair look a bit shiny. Oh, shiny hair, dream of shiny hair. I don't believe I'll ever have shiny hair. But there we go. There. Now I'm happy with that. It's quite plain and simple. I think it's fine. Let's pop that away. Now we need to think about Ivy's butterflies. Now in the story the butterflies are very bright and colourful, but we haven't got a very big amount of space, so I think I'm going to actually grab a colour and match them to her dress. I think that'll be fun. So, I'm trying to grab my colour, that's want to come out, just give it a sharpen, and then I'll show you what I've chosen. This is the malachite green, and I'm going to use this for the start of the butterflies. So this sort of bottom bit where I think it'll be darker on all of them, or each wing. I'm going to make both the same, although they are different butterflies in the story. I just like the fact I like the matching. I'm also going to do all the leaves on her dress in this colour. Now I realise, although this is called malachite green, it's a very bluey colour, but I want it all to match. And why can't we do something a bit different? You know, it's just a print on a dress. I think it's rather cute having a leaf design on a dress. I don't think I've ever seen that, not specifically not like this anyway. And then I'm just plain colouring here, nothing Nothing too tricky. They're quite small. I just want them to stand out. So I'm just blocking over them. Gosh, I've had a bit of a frustrating day so far. Went to town and did some bits there which I needed to do. Caught up with an old friend, which was rather nice, much to my boys' dismay as they were with me. Oh, Mother, talking. Do you know how long you've been talking for, Mother? No? This is the turquoise green. I'm going to do the ends of these first. Yeah, so that was fun. And then came home and I was trying to make some phone calls and sort out some things. And the first one, you know, I've just applied for an online account, I wanted to check if it was working. Sorry, no, nothing to say that you've done it. But I know I've done it because I pressed all the buttons and I had an email saying confirm and blah, and no, there's nothing. So that was that, and then tried to phone someone else. Was on hold for half an hour, and she put me through to a different department who had no free phones, so it just cut me off. So anyway, luckily, I'm trying to do the edge of the dress a bit darker, so I'm just layering up here. Luckily, I found an alternative plan. Basically, my son needs to buy train tickets every day to go to university, both my sons. And one of them hasn't got his provisional driving licence through yet, so he hasn't got photo ID to open a student bank account. So he can't buy a ticket without a bank account. Well, unless he uses cash, but they're talking about closing the ticket offices, so then cash won't be a problem. I don't know when that may or may not happen. You can see now it's darker here and lighter in the middle, and it sort of makes the dress look more rounded. Going to do the same with the sleeves. So anyway, I worked out that he can use the train app, the Trainlines app, to buy tickets, and he can connect it with a PayPal account. And he can use his savings account with his PayPal. He doesn't have to have a student account like a current checking account. He can just have a savings account associated with it. I was like, phew. So what he hasn't got much money in it, but that's fine. I'm gonna pay for their train fares, but the plan is to put give them a train fare every week, and then it's there and they can spend it, you know. So at least there's that option. He does want to eat at university on the days he's there for a whole day, so he may need something for that. I don't think you can use, I don't know if you can use PayPal. I don't think you can. Right, this is an eraser to just tidy up here. Now Ivy's collar, I sometimes rather like it white. I think it looks nice in white, but I'm not thinking of doing a background on this because there's a lot going on. So I've decided that I'm going to use the malachite green for the collar, and then it doesn't look like I've forgotten to colour it, and it will look less plain against the background. There we go. I just plain coloured that. Okay, so there's Ivy. The only thing we haven't done are her eyes. I think Ivy has blue eyes, but I can't be 100% sure. What sort of colour? I think they're gentian blue is a good colour for eyes. It's a really pretty blue. It's not very grey blue. My eyes are grey blue, I think. Now, I'm trying to get close because it's very small, and I'm going to put a little bit at the bottom and a little bit at the top and just leave a tiny white gap in the middle. Very hard to see. I've had to peer under my glasses, but I think I've done it. I don't know, hopefully. There we go. Okay, so there's Ivy. I'm not going to do the greenery and flowers yet. I think we'll move on to the door. Let's come out a tad. There we go. I'm going to do the stonework, that's fun. Now we need some greys. We have quite a nice, we have some beige. Our greys in the Pablos, we have a lot of cold greys, and then we have some sort of beiges which are slightly greyish, which I might use actually. I think I'm going to grab the, there's a brownish beige, a beige and a light beige. I might use those. So I'm going to grab the beige, and I'm not going to do all the rocks the same, stones the same colour. I think it might be interesting to do them different colours. So this one is the, as I said, this is the beige. Now I think it's quite a greyish colour. So you can use a cold grey if you want to. So let's do that one. So you can see I'm trying to put a bit more colour around the edge than the middle. I think it just makes it look a bit more interesting. Then we'll do this one. I'm just randomly, well, not really randomly, I'm just picking different bricks to do. Let's do the one next to it this time. It looks a bit too contrived if you do a pattern, you know, or don't have any next to each other. But anyway, there we go. And then we'll do this one. I'm just sort of, you know, trying to space them quite well. There we go. Let's do this one. If you prefer to do a different combination, that's fine. I'm trying to remember in the story if it says what colour the curtain is, because we've got the curtain up here to do, or if it indeed says what colour the door is, but I don't remember. So we'll just, I'll just do it the colour I like, yeah, why not? Now the curtains are quite tricky to colour with all the different shadows and things. Now obviously I will show you how to do it. I'll show you how I'm going to do it. But Susan Wimpey Berry did a tutorial on the curtain as well. So if you want to have a look at that, then do so. Or you know, if you don't like the way I do it, then her way might be different. I think she tends to use Prismacolor. So if that's your pencil of choice, then that might work better for you. And I know I said that I wasn't really going to do many tutorials with the Pablos, but I feel like I need to mix it up a little bit because I think I've used polychromos loads lately, just because they worked for the pictures that I had. And again, because this is quite detailed, I wanted something that I could get a nice point on, although we haven't got much teeny tiny detail. It's there's still a fair bit, and I just fancied using these, so that's what I did. Let's leave one gap there and make this the last one. Gosh, it's really warm today. It's the 1st of September recording this, and it's very hot and sticky. It's nasty today. Let's go for the darker one first. So this is the brownish beige. Whoops, I'm going to do some of the darker stonework. Again, it's quite randomish in that I want it spread fairly evenly around, and so it's a planned random. Let's put one here. It's not a big deal of difference, is there, between these two? But there is some. I hope you can see that it's different. Yeah, it was really hot and sticky in town. I was quite cool in the house, so I put a hoodie on and wished I hadn't. But yeah, happens. But it hasn't rained or anything, it's just sticky. Apparently it's going to be like that all weekend, which isn't particularly pleasant. But never mind. I don't know what I've got planned really. I know I've got some sorting out planned, and some planning and sorting, but as well as my usual shopping and cleaning and washing and, you know, all the usual lovely fun weekend jobs. But yeah, it's my husband is looking forward to his time off work, so we'll make a few plans for that, whether we take some trips out or, you know, whatever. we'll see. And yeah, should be good. He did have a holiday off recently, but not very long. I think sometimes you need to have a longish break to, you know, really feel the difference. And I think also we spent a lot of time, he likes to stay in, and I sometimes think that if you do that, the days go too quickly if you don't go out for little day trips or, you know, whatever. So even just going out locally for coffee or a walk, or just doing something a little bit different, can make it feel like a longer break from work. So anyway, we'll see. I want to talk to him this weekend about it, maybe plan a few things. This is light beige. I think is this the third planner page for September? Maybe not. I'm just looking. Yeah, it doesn't. Wow, wow. And is it the 17th? 18th, yeah. My children will be doing their first week, day of Freshers Week when this video goes out. I think they've got like sort of welcome to course talks and things like that, you know. So hopefully it will be interesting, and hopefully they'll get a chance to sort of chat to a few people and meet a few people. I don't remember doing Freshers Week. I remember having a tutor meeting, but I'm sure that was after my first lecture. But maybe it was an introductory lecture and then a tutor, I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. I'm really hoping they really enjoy it. I was saying this to my sister, I think, you know, university, I had such fun, I enjoyed it a lot. I didn't find it at all stressful, really. You know, I had to do a few presentations, and sometimes that was, the first few times it was stressful, but normally there was one occasion where I didn't really understand what I was talking to, and I just copied big chunks out of the textbook because I didn't really get it. So that one was a bit stressful, but normally I found it easy and fun, and I didn't get stressed. And you know, it was just so fun. So I really hope that they feel the same way. Now we have our sort of intricate work on the door. Now this bit I feel is like the hinge, and I quite fancy doing it in silver. And we actually have a silver, metallic silver pencil, and I'm just going to use that. I don't use them very often, but why not? Let's give it a go. So it is just called silver. There we go. Now the metallic pencils don't always impress people very much, and if you want it to look really shiny, you could go over it with a silver pen, or use a silver pen in the first place. But if you use it now, you'll have to wait for it to dry before you do the rest of the doll. But actually, I'm quite fond of metallic pencils, so I rather enjoy using them. They're just different, you know. I feel that you can use similar techniques to with a regular pencil, but the tones are a little bit dull, despite the fact they're metallic and shiny. It doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? But like the reds and the purples and the greens and things, if you're using a coloured one, they aren't so vibrant as other pencils. And I've been told by somebody that's because they mix the colour in with like a sort of graphite, because it makes it shiny and that sort of dulls the pigments or something. But I don't know. But anyway, I rather like those sort of dulled colours for some pictures. You know, it depends what you're colouring. as to what's going to work. But silver's actually the best metallic colour I find for either pencil or pen. Silver seems to be the best. There we go. Just sweep that off. It's very crumbly, the silver. That's okay. There we go. Now we've got a leaf, the leaves. I'm going to do those. Now these are ivy, I think, and I feel that ivy is usually quite a dark green. I'm going to find the spruce green. There it is. To do those with. And I'm probably going to just block them in actually, because they're quite small. And if I feel they need a bit more, I'll add a bit more, but I think they'll probably be okay. Just blocked in. Because it's hard to tell, you know, are they ivy growing over the door? Or are they just a pattern on the door? We don't know. So I think it's, you can do it either way. And if they were growing on the door, you might want to make them look a little bit more realistic with some different colours in them, not all the same shade. But, you know, I think it looks quite nice, quite plain. So I'm going to keep them all the same. You could also do each set a different colour if you wanted. And you don't even have to do them green. This is almost like a magic door because it's the entrance to and from Enchantia. So maybe they wouldn't be green, maybe they're sort of more magical colours. And I was, excuse me, thinking about the door colour as well. I was going to just do it plain wood, but I've done wooden doors for you before. So I'm thinking let's make it look a little bit more magical and do it a different colour. So I'm going to do something different. So we'll just finish that off. I thought it was easier to do the details first, i.e. the leaves and the frame. Okay, let's start with, I'm going to build up some colour. So I'm going to start with a light background. So I'm going to do the light purple first. Sorry, I hit the tripod then. In the background, so all over, and then I'm going to add streaks of other colour and see what it looks like. So here's the light purple, and I'm going to put it right through. I'm just checking the time, sorry. I need to make sure that I get my evening meal on ready. The children decided to cook themselves a chicken stew, but I don't eat meat, so I'm going to make myself a tray bake, veggies and beans, and pop it in the oven, and then get out of their way so they can make their meal without me hovering over them. I don't think they've got a recipe. I think they're just going to try something. We've got a nice big pan which they can sort of fry off their chunks of chicken and then add the veg and stuff, and then just put the lid on. And they could actually pop it in the oven. The pan can go in the oven or on the hob if they want to, or they can leave it on the hob. So they can choose how they do it. But they bought some various root vegetables this morning. I say bought, I mean chose, because you know I bought them. And so they've got some onion. They've got some garlic here as well to use, which I reminded them, so I'm going to use some garlic. And they bought some potato and some sweet potato, and I don't think they bought a carrot. They could have done parsnip. I can't remember what else. They can put some peas. I've got some frozen peas, so they can try all sorts of things. Oh, I bought some mushrooms. That was for me though, not them. And some courgettes. Anyway, they'll cook it up, and I'm sure they'll like it, which is good. I'm trying to keep this reasonably even because it's my sort of background, but to be honest it doesn't matter because I'm not going to add the other colours evenly. I'm just going to put in different stripes, different colours. Well, not stripes, strokes I think is a better word, so that so it looks a bit more interesting and hopefully magical. I mean, I don't really know how to create a magical look, but we'll see how it goes. I just realised we've got a step in front of the door there, which we probably should colour one of these colours. But anyway, it's a little bit darker on the outside than the middle, which wasn't my intention, so I'm just going to go over this bit a little bit more, just to make it look a bit less. Now I want my lines going up and down because it's a painted wooden door, so it would have a wood grain going this direction. Okay, let's make that do. So that was our light purple, and now I'm going to go for the purplish red, but I'm going to sharpen it because I want my stripes to be quite thin. Purplish red, and I'm going to just start to add in some stripes like this. If you don't like this idea, if it doesn't appeal to you, or if you're feeling a little bit unconfident with it, then just do another layer of the same colour that we just did and make it and leave it like that, you know. But I'm hoping that this will look fun and interesting. Just a reminder, by the way, everyone, I don't know if everyone's aware, I get new subscribers all the time, so they may not know, but in my description of each video I put the pencil names that I've used and links to the brand, links to them on Amazon and sometimes some other places as well. The pencil names are there to make it easier for you, so you can grab those pencils out before you start following along, if you're going to follow along with the video. Also that you can compare them to your sets if you don't have the set, and maybe use a comparison chart to find the equivalent colours before you start as well. So that's the point of that, and I know some of you use it and I'm sure some of you don't, but that's fine. That's what they're for. But also in the description it tells you a little bit about the video, which you potentially don't need to read as you're watching it, but it also tells you a little bit, well, it doesn't tell you, it gives you links to my social media sites. So if you want, if you enjoy watching my completed pages, this is the violet. I'm going to go quite dark now with some striping. If you like looking at my completed pages, then if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, I give some sneaky peeks during the month of pages I've completed. Some of them will be from the month before, but some of them will be new ones that you won't have seen yet from the new month. So it just gives you a little sneaky peek. And also I will post when I've got a new video out usually, so it gives you a little reminder. And sometimes I share other things, like yesterday, I mean, as I say, it's only the 1st of September recording this, Johanna Basford shared, no, it wasn't yesterday, it was a few days before, she shared a link to a free download, so I shared that on my Facebook just in case anyone hadn't seen it, that sort of thing. So there are little extras occasionally that I share, which might be good, might be fun, might be useful. So there. Now I'm actually going to keep this violet pencil in my hand and do the door frame. I think it's quite nice to have a dark colour as the frame. Now I'm going to go around in a fairly light layer because I don't just want the one layer. I'll show you what I'm going to do after I've got down this basic layer. So don't press really hard if you're following along. You don't have to use this colour, but whatever you use, don't press too hard yet. See what I'm going to do. And then you can decide if you want to copy or maybe just make it darker. Sorry, my hand's probably blocking. Let's go from underneath. That's better. Now what I'm going to do is go all around the edge. I'm going to start here because it's the most comfortable position for my hand with the dark layer like this. And then I'm going to do the same on the inside as well. I'm hoping that it might help it to look a little bit more rounded, which I would like it to look like it's a sort of piece of rounded wood rather than flat. It doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be rounded, but I think it just makes it look a little bit nicer. And then, oh, that's not very neat. Let's just do that again. There we go. And then we're going to do the same with the top. I'm sorry, the inside part. And it actually gives the impression that our door frame is standing out a little bit from the door, which you very possibly would be. So the door just sort of sits back into it a little bit, and it's also in front of the bricks a little bit, which I think I like. So you don't have to do this. There it is. Now I'm going to do a few different colours, more colours on the door. Let's pop that violet away. Oops. I'm going to use this, what's this one? This is the aubergine. I'm going to use this one next. This is quite a dark reddish colour. Now I don't know how much of this you can see on camera because it's quite small little lines, but the idea is just to try and put in a bunch of colours really and make it look a bit woody. Now often these doors are sort of made with separate planks and we haven't marked those out, we've just put in lots of little lines, so I might do that in a minute. But it's quite big, I feel like it sort of almost needs a ruler for the planks if I do it that way. Now try not to let your pencil end get too thick, because we want this sort of little strands of colour really. I think it works better like that. Make sure you go right to the edges of the items, like the this and these and the very edge frame as well. Makes a big difference. There we go. Okay, now you can add as many different colours as you wish. I think I'm going to use the lilac for my planks, I think. You don't have to do the planks, you can just leave it as if it were one piece of wood. But I'm going to do some thicker stripes. As I said, it might be better with a ruler, but it will look quite rustic without one. So it sort of depends what sort of look you're going for really. I'm trying to concentrate a little bit, but not too pedantically. Try and get them fairly even and fairly straight. Oops, that one feels like it went a bit off there. But wood there that but wood isn't straight. Well, I suppose they would cut the plank straight, wouldn't they? Anyway. But as I say, you don't have to draw the planks in if you would rather it was just plain. That's fine. My next door neighbour messaged me in the night saying someone had been trying the car doors around the street, and there was a news report local saying other people had reported it too in different streets. So there was a sort of police incident number, so I suggested to him that he send some, give the information he's got to the police. So he was doing that, showing me, but fortunately I wasn't disturbed by this. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I think it's looking like wood. Now what I want to do is do a little bit of shadowing around under the door frame and under the plants and the handle and bits and pieces, just a little bit. And we've got to do the little step. And then we'll probably finish, because we've gone on for ages, and leave some for tomorrow. So the shadowing, I'm thinking I'd quite like a dark grey. I'm just looking at my swatch chart. I think I'm going to go for the charcoal grey. Oops, I'm finding the wrong pencil. Just give it a sharpen. I don't want to go too dark with this, but just a little bit there. So here it is, the charcoal grey. And I'm going to go just gently around this door frame. I didn't breathe then. Oh, I just knocked my sharpener with my elbow. My husband gave me a new sharpener the other day. I think it's going to go above the hinge, isn't it? Which was nice. Apparently he's got loads. He's obviously got them hidden somewhere. And I think, yeah, see on the outside. And then it will make the frame look more like it's sort of standing up. Don't want too much. Can't decide whether to do it at the top or not, so I haven't yet. And maybe I will, just a tad. And then under here, I'm just thinking about doing underneath. So not above, just below. And sort of remember going inside that bit. And that bit too. I'll have a look after and see if it makes sense, just doing it like this. This is a good time to have a check whether you've gone all the way up to the edge of your items with the colour as well, because it's quite easy to miss little bits. But mine's not too bad. It's not perfect, but then never is. No one's perfect, despite what they might have you believe. Right, and just underneath these little bits here. Now I'm going to do the step in the same beige colours that I was using before. Might start with the lightest actually. So the light beige, Let's push this up a little bit so you can see now I've got a lot of plants growing around here. So I'm going to try and put a fairly thick layer across here. I know it's a light colour, so it isn't going to go really dark. And then this bit I want to be a bit lighter. It's ended up looking darker. Maybe it would be darker. I'm actually going to do it dark. I've changed my mind entirely. Better to start light and go dark. You can't do the other way around. I think there might be a bit of a shadow along there. Let's just put a little bit in. There we go. So there's our door and ivy, and I think we're going to leave it there for today because we have done 44 minutes. But I've really enjoyed myself. I hope it's been okay for you guys as well. And yeah, we'll start next time on the curtain and bunting, and I'm not sure whether we'll get it all done or not. We'll just see how the time goes and how I feel. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a really super Monday. And yeah, tune in tomorrow for the next instalment. Happy colouring!